Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of David Duggleby Auctions based in the UK, and we're going to have a look at their latest auction, which is musical instruments. Looks like they've got about 144 or so lots on this auction, so pretty good. A mixture of different stuff, so it should be fairly interesting. This particular auction is finishing on the 9th of June. It's the 7th today, so a couple of days left to go. I'll put a link in the description to the video. Looks like the buyer's premium is 21% on this, so that's what you pay on top of the final hammer price, so that's fairly reasonable. Just a reminder, this is a UK based auction, so if you're outside of the UK, if you're kind of in Europe or somewhere else in the world, bear in mind kind of import fees, shipping, etc., maybe CITES restrictions, all of that usual fun stuff that we have to deal with. So yeah, before we get on and look at this auction, just like to say, if you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing or like or comment, because it really does help the channel a lot and it'd be much appreciated. Okay, so that's enough of me. So let's continue and look at the instruments. So we've got a 2021 USA Gibson Les Paul standard guitar here with the hard case and all of its kind of certificates and all of that stuff. Looks like a fairly nice instrument there. This one estimate is $1,000 to $1,500. There's a pre-auction bid on that as well. Then we have an interesting Fender Stratocaster 50th anniversary metallic gold guitar from 2004, estimates $300 to $400. Really interesting Mexican Strat here. I don't think I've seen one like this before. Definitely a bit of an acquired taste, but I kind of like it. I think it's fairly interesting. Then moving on, we have a 2015 Japanese Caparison Dillinger Prominence. So interesting. When I was more into kind of guitars and in playing in bands, I always did quite like the Caparison guitars. Not really a metal player as such, but I did quite like these and was tempted a few times. So nice looking guitar, and I know that these kind of, at least the handmade range of these, are really decent instruments. So $1,500 to $1,800 on that. I think that's a good deal. Then we've got an Ozark Dobro Chromium, a national style resonator there, $300 to $400 the estimate on that. Got a Diamond Guild Starfire custom semi-acoustic guitar, 2009, $250 to $400 on that. Looks like most of these things have pre-auction bids, so someone's clearly interested in a lot of these guitars. A Spanish Gitano Manuel Rodriguez Macaferri guitar, $2,000 to $2,500. I think this will do quite well. These are very popular, these guitars. This one looks really nice, wood there in the back. I think that this will do well for sure. Probably a fair bit over that. Got a Gretsch Electromatic semi-acoustic guitar here, $250 to $350. Once again, it'll probably do pretty well there. And a British handmade classical acoustic guitar by Hugh Morgan, Indian rosewood back and sides, from 1998, $350 to $500. Looks nice enough. Nice classical guitar. Then we've got an Ibanez George Benson 40th anniversary archtop semi, $350 to $450. Interesting. Got another Ozark here, Ozark resonator there, $800 to $1,200. Nice kind of engraving on that one. Some more acoustics, Tanglewood Folk OM Cedar and Java Wood acoustic, $250 to $350. Nice looking back on that. Tanglewood Dreadnought here, $250 to $350. An Aria Les Paul electric guitar with amp there, $100 to $150. Gibson Marauder 6-string guitar there, $200 to $250. That's pretty good. Fair stroke good somewhere. I like these. These are really cool. $200 to $300. Surely it's going to sell for at least $600 or so. I know these aren't the super highest value, and looks like the tuners have been changed, but I like these. These are cool. Something a little bit different than the average stuff. Encore guitar there, and another kind of Spanish classical guitar there, nothing too crazy. Got an Aria travel guitar and a couple of amps there. Useful if you do a lot of maybe travelling or gig outside or something. It's probably a good rig. Got a banjo ukulele here and a Kapok brand ukulele. Interesting. That's probably quite a nice ukulele actually. Looks fairly interesting, like an older one. There are definitely people that collect these. So yeah, quite a curious one. J&D guitar and amp, we don't really need to look at that. An LUK, interesting soprano electric uke there, 40 to 70. What else? Early 20th century Italian Raffaele di Santino 8-string mandolin, 30 to 50 on that. Probably needs a bit of work, as a lot of these instruments do. It's a flat back one, not quite as exciting as the bowl back ones. Sigma semi-acoustic here. It's nice enough, 250 to 300. A French mandolin with a bowl back and another kind of flat back mandolin. It's actually fairly nice looking mandolin there. Interesting. And see what else we got here. Banjolele there and another mandolin. We've got a few violins here, but I don't think any of these violins are particularly interesting. Same here. I think this is a pretty standard kind of German trade instrument, so we won't waste too much time there. Eastman mandolin there, modern mandolin. A couple of acoustics there. Interesting, an Italian bouzouki and another kind of mandolin labelled Miroglio and Figli, Sicilia, Catania. Interesting. It's actually curious looking thing. This mandolin, it's not too bad actually. It's got some nice kind of bits to it. Fairly interesting. Okay, 50 to 80, it's not a bad lot. A few of these auto harps that I really do not enjoy, I'll be honest. Juan Montes Rodriguez Spanish flamenco guitar there, 2 to 250. Okay, from 2020. Korean PV EXP Telecaster. I think these are actually quite decent, 80 to 120. Not super high end, but interesting enough. Fender Strat style electric guitar in metallic blue. Oh, they've got Rio Grande pickup though, or at least one, which are really nice pickups there, 50 to 80. Would it be worth it alone for the pickups, because they are pretty expensive pickups from what I remember. So if they're all Rio Grande 50 to 80, I mean the pickups alone have got to be worth 200 to 300, I would have thought. MIDI guitar there, Burns Cobra. Interesting. Is that a reissue one? 150 to 200 on that. Fender Squire 5-string bass there, 100 to 150. 1968 American Gretsch Streamliner semi-acoustic. Okay, that's quite nice. 1500 to 1800. I don't recall having seen many of these. It's a nice looking guitar. Ibanez G10, I think that's just a lower end kind of Ibanez there. Epiphone Gibson Les Paul. Let's see, 2009 Fender Telecaster. It's got a Charlie Christian copy pickup, which is that one there at the neck position. Interesting looking pickups there. 250 to 400. Indonesian crafted reissue of early Washburn parlour guitars. Yeah, I remember when these came out. I think these are probably quite decent actually. What they're looking for, 2 to 300. That's not bad. I think these are probably pretty nice. These parlour guitars were very popular about 10 years ago or so. I don't know if they're still popular now, but they were for a bit. Washburn 12 string there, 80 to 120. Mexican Fender Strat there from 2003, 250 to 350. Hofner B bass high series there, 150 to 200, virtually mint condition. These are always popular. British handmade mahogany electric guitar by J.J. Luthier Dan McPherson, circa 2012, 500 to 600. These are actually really nice. I remember when I was kind of in my guitar buying kind of zone around that time, maybe even a bit earlier, the J.J. guitars are really nice. So I think if you could get that for 500 to 600, I think it'd be pretty good. Spanish guitar there and some other bits and pieces. We won't get into it too deep. Couple of violins. I don't think this is anything exciting. It's just standard kind of trade stuff, so we don't need to go too deep into that. Same here, a couple of half-sized cellos, nothing too crazy. German half-sized cello as well, nothing too mad. Some other Stentor cellos there. Banjo. Let's have a look at this mandolin. American Sterling Chicago 8-string mandolin. Okay. 100 to 150 on that. A load of mandolins here. Eastern 8, Ashbury, F model, Eastern 8, all these kind of, I think at least these are probably Chinese mandolins there. Look kind of nice enough. Who knows if they play well or if they sound good, but looks interesting enough. Some other mandolins here. Here's an Italian, or supposedly Italian 8-string mandolin with maple back and ribs, and another mandolin as well, 50 to 80. It's kind of interesting enough. Looks like at least the mandolin on the left looks fairly interesting. Okay, and another 3/4 German violin. I don't think any violins in this auction particularly interesting. Some student instruments here, some books about violin making. Some of these could be fairly interesting. 200 to 300 is the estimate there. Might be a few curious things. German trade violin there, 1900, with Steiner on the back, so that's your typical trade violin there. Another 3/4 violin, nothing too crazy there. Whole load of bows here. Might be some good ones in there. Maybe worth looking at the pictures in a bit more detail. German cello here, 1900. Another smaller cello and some kind of other violin here. So maybe the German cello is kind of alright, 300 to 400 the estimate. Looks like it could be fairly okay cello. Cello case there. 20th century Mircore French violin apparently. Okay. German trade violin circa 1900. Yeah, it's all fairly standard stuff. Let's see what else we got here. Another German violin circa 1900. It's all fairly similar. And 20th century German, 3/4 size. Ooh. Chinese parrot violin, with another violin there. Let's have a look at the back of that. Looks like another trade instrument there. A stentor, cello and something else. Modern Hungarian cello and some other bits. German silver mounted violin bow, stamped Albert. 70 to 100 on that. Could be an okay bow, it's not unreasonable. And what else do we have? Czech violin, stamped Liszt. It's once again fairly standard. 19th century German trade violin. I think so far it's all been fairly accurate in terms of the description. Back is quite interesting on that one, but I don't think we're seeing anything especially good so far. In the bowed front, whole load of other instruments here. I think just different variations of the same theme of trade violin. Saxon violin here, 1900, another trade instrument, and another German trade instrument here. See what else we got. I think another couple of trade violins, just one's made from a bigger workshop. Another kind of trade violins here. I think these are all mainly trade violins, to be honest. I can't really see anything that's jumping out at me at being anything other than a trade violin, unfortunately. But some of these might well be, quite usable for students or younger musicians, as an entry-level instrument. Not to say that they don't sound good at all. I mean, far from it. Some of those can sound really, really good, but they're not so interesting to look at, in my opinion. And some more bows there. Got a 3/4 cello, some other kind of bow stuff here. These are interesting. So we've got a whole load of timpani drums here. So by Premier, don't often see timpani drums. So we've got 4 different timpanis there. Egyptian tabla drum there. A clavier muet. Got a trombone. MIDI controller there. Flute. Another flute there. Some clarinets. Tenor baroque recorder, okay. Some conductors, batons there. And a tuba. Clarinet there. We've got to have obviously some concertinas here. So Wheatstone hexagonal there, 350 to 500, and a Lacanal, 100 to 150. Those will sell. We know that there are lots of concertina collectors around. So clarinet here, another flute, another clarinet, flexible roll-up piano there. There's a euphonium, another euphonium, some trombones, different recorders there. Here's some oboe, clarinet, etc. Turntables, talk box, some other bits and pieces and effects, some other effects here, some speakers, records and stuff like that. Digital signal processor, Symphonia, music box there, some more music boxes here, bits of drum kit, some cymbals, Italia Marinello Speedster guitar, so that must have been a late edition. Rockburn kit there, Trevor James Artemis alto saxophone, and there's a straight soprano saxophone there. So yeah, that's it. That's basically the end of the David Duggleby auction. Nothing super exciting in this auction, really, unfortunately. I mean, there's a few good guitars. I think these first few sets of guitars are quite interesting. This Macaferri is obviously going to be very popular. Not my thing, but interesting. I really like the Gibson Marauder. That's a nice guitar. So yeah, a few things here and there are definitely worth looking at. So I'll put a link in the description as always. Check it out and see what you think. And thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. Bye.